Hello and welcome to another exciting installment of Trendz Travel. I am your host, Nadia Dambuza, and today we are coming to you from the brand new gorgeous Radisson Hotel in Ekurhuleni. Today's show has elements of culture, history and outdoor fun. In our first segment, though, we go to the movies. A contemporary western depicting the self-discovery journey of three different but equally trapped women. Flatland is the latest movie to be released in South Africa after the COVID-19 pandemic. And now we sit down with lead actress Faith Baloyi.
Ik het iets gedoen. Ik het iemand geskiet. Natalie!
Natalie, watch your man!
After 11 years in the making, Flatland, an all-female South African film by director, photographer and writer Jenna Bass, will be screening at our cinemas soon. Questioning what it means to be a woman today in South Africa and the world at large. The film follows three different but equally desperate women who undertake a journey of self-discovery in the Karoo semi-desert. Bass, who has written short stories and had one of those stories shortlisted for the 2012 Cannes Prize, is passionate about telling South African female stories. Trendz sat down with Bass days before the release of her latest offering.
Flatland's a movie about three very different women, a lonely police officer, a runaway bride and a pregnant teenager whose dreams and destinies all come together in the course of a few days in the Karoo. It's a film that we worked on for quite a number of years before getting to this point, and it came about, I think, probably originally because I'd taken a train trip through the Karoo and had looked out the window and thought, wow, what a great landscape for a western. And I really loved watching westerns with my dad, and I had watched a lot of them, and I just thought that was a really great starting point for a great film. And the more westerns I watched and did research on and started to question, why I was interested in this genre in the first place, I just started to realize that there were no real female characters that I could identify with, and I found that, despite loving this genre, I really wanted to know what someone like me or different kinds of characters would handle the situations that we see in westerns, and so it became a lot more about questioning the western and asking, what could the western be if we put women on the saddle rather than the male characters that we're used to seeing.
Playing the leading role is the talented South African actress and writer Faith Baloyi.
My character is basically, she drives the story, so she's the detective. So she unravels the mystery or tries to fix the mess, basically. I don't want to give away too much of the story, but basically I get a phone call about murder, and I do have a personal stake in the whole thing because somebody I know is implicated, and I think I don't believe that the person did it, so I'm trying to get to the truth of what actually happened that night. And so this chase sequence happens where I'm always a step behind these two fugitives, these girls that run away, who are also involved in this mess.
Baloyi is confident that the film will be well received by the South African audience.
The message really is about ordinary South African people. Racially, I'm a black lady, Nicole's a colored lady, Izal's a white lady. So there's a lot of, interracial discourse happening, and star-crossed lovers, and paths intersecting from completely different backgrounds. It's a very colorful movie. You'll never be bored. It's a very South African movie. I think people can relate to all these characters. Everybody has seen these characters at some point in their lives.
Shot on a large budget, Flatland was chosen as an opening film at the 69th Annual Berlin International Film Festival in 2019.
Up next, we embark on a 4x4 trail in KwaZulu-Natal, touring various monuments and heritage sites. We visited the burial sites of Queen Nandi and Chief Senzangakhona.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be taking you through the 4x4 experience, the mini 4x4. Then we're gonna hit the heritage route. We'll go straight to the head Nduna. It's great, the Nduna of Shaka, King Shaka. So we'll go there and then see where Shaka used to decide cases. And then we'll go see Shaka's mother's grave, which is Nandi's grave. As we driving up there, we'll be going across the village drive, the village of Ngodini, right in the heart of Zululand, which is a shore. So as we drive around, we'll be engaging with you. I hope you enjoy your tour. Let's have a small experience of the 4x4 as the cars are following us. They're gonna do what we do on the off-road.
As we venture on the dirt road, our guide points out interesting facts along the way.
It looks like an umbrella. In the olden days, Eloise, yeah, that's where the elders used to sit under the shade. They used to choose the trees that look like umbrella. That will provide a very good shade and just to sit underneath. So, actually, you did not need the umbrella because you do have your lapa.
The already rugged dirt road takes a turn for even more treacherous territory. The 4x4s in our entourage are finding the climb quite difficult at such a steep gradient. This is evidenced by the rolling of tires and the subsequent dust storm. What makes these trails unique is that you make them as you go. With more spinning, our guide decides to help them out. Once back on the makeshift trail, we climb higher to our first destination.
Dosi was the Nduna of King Shaka. And beside being Nduna of King Shaka, he started being a head Nduna of King Senzangakhona, of which was the father of Shaka. And he moved to the son. And he moved to even Kudingane, kings, chiefs from Ama Kings, Zulu, KwaZulu. And he even went to Umpande. So he was known for intellects, for the strong portion of muti that they used to use, that was used by Amabuto when they are attacking. And that's why King Shaka, why he win Ama battles, it's because he had those muti portion that he was using to defeat Ezinye Izizwe.
What is this thing that I'm wearing? What is this?
This is umqhele. It's sort of a crown. When it's called umqhele, when you're no longer a young man, when you've proven that you are a grown-up man, then they used to give you this to show that you are now a man. You can now face challenges. You can now go empini. You can go fight now. You're no longer a boy. So now then, if you're doing well, then they will crown you to say you are now a fully grown-up man.
Okay, so this is wasted on me because I'm a woman.
Yeah, of course. No, you're not allowed on that one.
So what would I wear? What would a woman wear?
Actually, a woman, he wears a very special hat, of which is inhloko. It's called inhloko. So but you cannot wear this when you are not married. When you come and be, this is what ladies wear. Yes. There you go.
And what does this mean for us?
You must be very careful, because if you accept that already, which means you are now my bride.
From being crowned a bride, we are back on the dirt road on our way to the Tree of Council. It is here at this monument and under this very tree that King Shaka would try cases. Our guide explains how the tribunal would take place and what the fate would be of anyone who was found guilty. The guilty would be sent all the way to the other side of the mountain to Coward's Bush. Marked by yet another monument, Coward's Bush was the place the guilty would be sent to die. The tribunal would sit under this very tree on these very rocks and watch how judgment was carried out over the person being deemed a coward. Our last stop is Queen Nandi's grave.
We must remember Queen Nandi was mother of the nation, the Zulu nation, because he was King Shaka. There was a monument here before. From what I've been told, it was demolished because there was a misunderstanding, and some people were saying Queen Nandi is a princess. He's never been married to King Shaka, and others were said no, of course he was a queen to Shaka. Yeah, but now it is looking at this date, but the fact that it is a heritage site, more especially to us as the Zulu nation, because we've got a lot of respect for this space. It can be just a space, plain space, because we know this is where our queen was buried. Even if there is no fencing, no monument, but we still, as the Zulu nation, we still respect our queen lied here.
Ever wondered what it's like to live in Hillbrow? Well, stay tuned, because after the break, we brave the heat and take to the streets. Hillbrow is one of Johannesburg's oldest suburbs with beautiful architecture and a beat of its own. Unfortunately, over the years, it has gained a bad reputation and deemed unsafe and the most dangerous place you can go to. Well, we dispelled some of these things and walked the streets of this bustling suburb. Check it out. Hillbrow is where Africa meets. The hustle and bustle, almost tangible. This suburb never sleeps. Our tour of Hillbrow starts at the iconic Ponte, a 55-story cylindrical building built in 1975 and situated at the end of Lily Avenue. Lined with jacaranda trees, the view from the top is just beautiful. But we take to the streets and it's a different kind of beauty.
We are Dlalanje. Dlalanje is a Zulu word that means just play, and today we're going to be taking you on a Hillbrow walk. So firstly, we're going to visit the streets of Hillbrow. We're going to take you guys through some of the most hectic buildings. Some of those are hijacked buildings, some of those are very, very good looking buildings. So we're going to show you the architecture of Hillbrow and taking you through the most diverse area in Johannesburg. So you guys will get to see some of the oldest buildings in Johannesburg and also get to see the culture and how people live together in the streets. So Joburg is known for its diverse and all these people coming from different countries and managing to live together in the same place. So you get to witness that, and then you get to witness some of the most old businesses in Hillbrow, as everybody knows how the reputation of how Hillbrow was back in the 70s. So you guys will get to see a clear picture on how Hillbrow is now compared to how it was back in the day. So a lot of these things are still visible in the streets. We're going to take a walk through the most busiest streets, Pretoria Street in Hillbrow, and you guys are going to get to see the Telkom Tower through the Summit Club, and we're also going to do a little bit of Perea, and you guys are going to get to do some shopping as well in the market.
This was once home to the rich and famous, and everyone wanted to be seen here. But overpopulation and a high crime rate in the area dimmed the spotlight on the suburb, and it lost its prestige status. The streets are so busy, so everything is fast-paced. So instead of strolling down the streets, we quickly dash to Pretoria Street, synonymous for being the best spot for parties and nightclubs way back then. On Pretoria Street, you'll also find the bustling High Point, a skyscraper of apartments built on top of a shopping center. One of the oldest shops in Johannesburg is also on this street, and surprisingly, it's still operational to this day. We keep walking and grab a snack on the side of the road, grilled chicken necks. They say you can get anything you want in Hillbrow, and that could be true. On the side of the road, right on the pavement, we were able to get food, accessories, and you can also grab a chair and get your hair done. Now, back to history. In 1946, the City Council removed height restrictions. After that, some of Johannesburg's tallest buildings were built. The famous Hillbrow Tower, now known as the Telkom Tower, is 269 meters high and has become a Johannesburg icon. You can see it from almost anywhere in Johannesburg. Our next stop was the market, also on the pavement. Convenient and affordable. Here you get fresh produce and other delicacies. These vendors cater to their market. Some of their customers are from West Africa, so they sell what is familiar to them. Like this fish, a caravan fish. It might look very scary, but apparently it's very nutritious. I think I'd rather see it on a plate already cooked. Hillbrow is home to thousands. Many have come and gone, and with gentrification programs in place, it might just return to its glory days, or even better. We have seen your pictures and we absolutely love them. Continue to tag us on our social media pages. Find us at Trendz on SABC using the hashtag SABC News. We'll be right back after this short break.
The Anglo-Boer War Museum in Bloemfontein, Free State, is the only museum in the world dedicated solely to the Anglo-Boer Wars of 1899 to 1902. More than a century later, South Africans can look back at this event as a shared tragedy that shaped the social, political, economical, and historical landscape of South Africa as we know it today.
This is the General de Wet Hall, and in this hall we look at General de Wet and his role in the war, but also about other interesting items that we have. For example, over here we have the Free State Artillery. They were fighting in the war under the guidance of Major Albrecht. He was from Prussia, and he taught them a bit of warfare in the Prussian way. This is General de Wet. He was one of the major generals on the Free State side. He had some experience. He was fighting in the First Anglo-Boer War in 1881. When he came, of course, to the Anglo-Boer War, he was also President Stein's main man. He was the head of the forces, and he was very good at his military tactics. He was always seen to just disappear whenever the British tried to corner him. But in the end of the war, he said that it wasn't him that was always that clever. It's because of the information that he got from his scouts. But he was known as the Scarlet Pimpernel as well. The British called him that because they sent 50,000 men after him and they still couldn't catch him.
Divided into sections named of specific periods and key players of the war, the museum has a unique art collection and exhibits that brings visitors closer to understanding the background against which the war took place. The Boers started a guerrilla warfare, which included attacks on railway lines. This led to what was later called the scorched earth policy that left many families in concentration camps.
About 30,000 farms were destroyed in the scorched earth policy, and the women were very destitute in the end. You'll see here what they would wear, a kappie, so it's a bonnet. Now, it was usually different colors, but especially black. And then when you were in mourning, you would put a piece of comfort material on it, or langfur on it, to show that you were actually in mourning.
With every war, there is always allies that fight on their periphery. And this particular section documents the role that the black community played in the war.
So this is the Salt Blaakie Hall. Here we show the black involvement on both the Boer and the British side. Here you will see the black soldiers who fought in the British Army. You'll see the Agterers who fought on Boer side, and you'll also see the black concentration camps where the women and children suffered and died. About 24,000 black women and children died in the black concentration camps, and it just shows you how the black people, even though their involvement in the war in the beginning was small, it grew exponentially so that they do have a place in this war as well. This war is all South Africans' war, and I think it's important for people to see that all of us have a history in this war.
In order to understand the history of South Africa, a visit to the War Museum is a must. The War Museum not only provides the visitor with an insight into the course and development of the Anglo-Boer War through its unique collection and exhibitions, but it also provides a background into the universal suffering it caused.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's show. We hope you enjoyed everything. Don't forget to tag us on our social media pages. That's @Trendz on SABC using the hashtag SABC News. We will be back next week, same time, same place. From me, goodbye.